Good day to everybody again. Good day to everybody again. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. The third video that I'm dropping today. We have to talk about the Nations League squad that was released earlier today. We have to get to it. The squad is on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. A press conference was kept earlier today, and it was announced on the press conference on the JFF YouTube channel for those of you who missed it. And the squad is on your screen. All the names are on your screen. Probably you guys can't see so good. Hold on. And put it on. All right. So those are all the players plus the three goalkeepers. The three goalkeepers, Andre Blake, Kanaya Boyce Clark, and Jamali Wait, right? Corey, I died up on my mind, people. Anyways, for starters, the press conference earlier today, Simon never struck me as the praying type. that he kind of catch me off guard still enough people. I'm gonna say Simon got deep in a prayer, man. Simon bust a piece of prayer there, Simon. Simon never struck me as the Christian praying type. See, but big up Simon Preston, anyways. So that was the first thing from the press conference that stood out. Even the president, lauded Simon for his praying skills, his impressive praying skills. Um, the squad, there are some players that I'm happy to see in the mix. Casey Palmer, it's good to see him back. It's good to see Casey Palmer back. Good to see Ethan Pinnock back as well, the big centre back. Good to see him back in the squad. Good to see Greg Lay back as well. He hasn't been in the squad for quite some time. And, good to see Ronaldo Cephas in the squad. It would have been very surprising this squad being picked and Ronaldo Cephas not being in it. And also the new boy, Tavon Gray, plays for New York City in the MLS. He's a right back from what my research is telling me. And can also play at centre back as well. I'm sure I've seen the boy play, but to be honest with you, I wasn't taking note of him because I didn't really realize he was eligible to play for us. So I am going to have to do some more research into this player to see what he's about. But he is a young player, and he is basically a starter for New York City. So there must be some quality there. There must be some quality there. Certainly, some value that can be added to the national setup. So it's good to see him in the mix as well, even though I don't really know much about him. During the press conference, I noticed that Jaime Grimson likened Casey Palmer to Ravel Morrison. Is Casey Palmer going forward going to be the replacement for Ravel? Is Ravel gonna be pushed out? I don't know. That was an interesting observation. Also, another observation that was made from the press conference and the squad as well is that there are a number of players in this who are going to be making home debuts. Certainly, a large portion of the squad has not really played frequently at home. So, that should be interesting. The Jamaican fans getting a chance, for instance, to see Casey Palmer up close for the very first time, right? And also the new boy, Tavon Gray. Another interesting point in the press conference as it relates to the squad was that Corey Burke is nursing an injury. So in the event that he can't make it, that replacement has already been lined up in Demario Phillips. So that is something important that should be noted as well. From my standpoint, looking at this squad, I am very disappointed not to see Omari Hutchinson in it. I was really hoping I'd see Omari Hutchinson in this squad. I'm very disappointed he's not in it. To be honest with you, I think we can I think it's safe to start arriving at conclusions. I mean, I don't want to speculate, but this is not behavior. This is not behavior that suggests that he's serious about the Jamaican national team, right? So, that's very disappointed to see him not in it. Who would have liked to have seen given a chance as well? Corey Adai, the Crawley Town goalkeeper. I think it would have been nice to give him a chance. I mean, the gaffer spoke about not selecting some players because he wanted to give some other players a chance to show what they can do. I'd have liked to have seen what Corey Adai could do as well. So, I was just a little bit disappointed not to see Corey Adai in the squad. I'd really like him to get another opportunity, a real opportunity to show what he's about, especially for this, relatively new gaffer. The midfield, looking at this team, that is also an observation that, one can easily make. I mean, the team is a decent team, as good as it probably possibly could be, not far off our best squad right now in terms of players available and those who are much fit and much sharp and that sort of a thing. The midfield, however, man, I mean, God Almighty, when are we going to sort out this midfield crisis? The midfield doesn't really stand out to me. I mean, look, good to see Casey Palmer back in the fold, right? Bobby Reed, good player. DJ, good player. Violating Salatibo there too. But one, from a numerical standpoint, the midfield is short a player or two, in my humble opinion, from the standpoint of balance. And also, but I like to see a little bit more quality in there, especially at the pivot positions. The number 10 position don't really bother me so much, but the pivot positions, one, it's lacking depth as per usual, and two, it's lacking quality as per usual. Is a reason why you see pivot players nowadays going for the price tags that they're going for, 100 million plus signing. Some of the biggest signings in world football today are pivot players. Pivot players are very important. We seem to be scouting everything but the pivots. We seem to be bringing in players in so many other different positions, relatively new players. I mean, Cephas in the squad, the boy Gray, Tavon Gray, Casey Palmer back in, like pivots. We are like real pivots. We need to really start scouting and bringing in some pivots, people. We need some pivots. Seriously, we need some real pivots, man. I mean, is it a case that they're not out there? They're not really available to us that much. We don't have, pivots. We don't have the amount of them in the pool relative to what we have in other positions. The numbers aren't there. If you understand the point I'm trying to make, I don't know, man. But it just doesn't seem to me as if something is being done about the midfield, especially the number 6 and the number 8 position. Seeing, so it's very frustrating time and time again. Squad after squad being selected and the midfield just look a little flat, especially the pivot position. Seeing, the gaffer spoke about some noticeable omissions. And by the way, I think Russell should have made this squad, right? I think a player should have squeezed in for Russell. If Russell was in the squad, especially from a numerical standpoint, the midfield would have looked a little bit better. The team would look a little bit more balanced, right? But we need even more quality. See, but the gaffer spoke about, players who were not selected, the likes of Russell, Taxi, Paris Brown, those who were in the Gold Cup squad and who are not in this squad. And he made it a point to, basically made a point of it to let everybody know that it wasn't because of quote unquote bad performances. He just wanted to see new faces. I don't think it's based on bad performances either. But in my humble opinion, I think there's a little bit of a BS there. My BS meter kind of go up a little bit on that thought when we hear it. I think those are positions that he wants to strengthen, right? I think those respective players, he would probably like to see an improvement on those players. And that's in my humble opinion. And I say that because of, especially the scarcity of how those players were used. Russell, Taxi, Paris, well, with the exception of Brown. And to be honest with you, even though Brown was used, well, he was used a bit more than the others, but, still Lembekisa basically taking game. And Brown never really covered himself all that much in glory in the World Cup either. I think the Gaffer probably wants to try and see if he can find a upgrade on those positions. So probably he genuinely doesn't think that they were bad performers in the Gold Cup. But, I personally, this is my opinion, how I feel about the situation and just the vibe and, the context of him not playing them all that much, and they are second string players based on what we have seen in recent times. I think he want upgrade them positions there, ladies and gentlemen. I think he wants upgrades on the likes of a Russell, Taxi, Paris, and Brown. They were clearly not the strongest players in their respective positions. So, that was a very interesting thing that I thought was a very important point to speak on as well, coming from the press conference and coming from the squad announcement. As I said, not far off our best team right now based on availability of players and fitness and match fitness and all of that sort of stuff. Still want to see improvements on my midfield. Still want to see improvements on my midfield. I must give credit to the Jamaica Football Federation where it is concerned. I hate giving credit to the JFF, right? They're such a poor organization. Them not forget no credit. All of them do good. Them not forget no credit, man, because the bad so grotesquely it outweighs the good so much that even when them do good, you may not think we give them the credit, Seeing, but them use up the credit for want of a better term. Seeing, but the press conference was a well put together press conference. To be fair to Jamaica Football Federation, it never looked too bad at all. It was a nice little presentation. All we are going, so we have to give props where props is due. Seeing, knock up the likes button, subscribe and share, ladies and gentlemen. This is the squad on your screen with the inclusion of the three goalkeepers that are not on your screen currently: Andre Blake, Jamali Waite, and also Kanaya Boys Clark. So this is the squad on your screen. And this is the squad for the upcoming Nations League, Concacaf Nations League games. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the squad. Really want to hear your opinions. Take care, guys. Stay safe. And until next time.